everything you see has been designed to maximize efficiency and output, not just of the jet, but of also everything else we do. Our command and control of looking after our frigates and our destroyers and the other shipping that goes with us, our helicopters and our people. So compared to our other ships in the fleet, this is really taking a step forward, and it's been about embracing technology and innovative design solutions, fundamentally in order to reduce the headcount of the number of people that we have on board. It's not a competition, but when you compare with other navies that operate aircraft carriers, we run around with around 800 ships company and then another 800 personnel that complete the air wing and in my staff. So a total of 1,600 people. On an American aircraft carrier, that total will be just under 5,000. And we built a warship here in about a third of the time for a third of the cost and run by a third of the people for roughly about 80% of the output in a 24-hour cycle. So hopefully you'll see that when you go around of how we've managed to get at technology and innovative solutions to really improve the output and get the best possible value for our money. But why are we here? This is Queen Elizabeth and the Strike Group's inaugural deployment, and the timing of it could not have been better in that it's synchronised with the recent integrated review that we held back in the United Kingdom. And the headline in that review was a realisation and a formal statement, an articulation of the growing importance of the Indo-Pacific region and how we as a country wanted to have a more sustained presence in the region. And that's not just militarily, but that's economically, trade, science and technology, education, media, culture, everything you can think of. It is not just defence. We are one of many, many strands to it. But our inaugural deployment, of course, is the embodiment of it from a defence and security perspective. And so the design of this deployment has been absolutely international in its DNA from the start. Not only have we deployed with a Dutch warship and an American warship, and we have a US Marine Corps squadron on board, throughout the deployment from sailing in May to our return to the UK in December, we will visit and exercise with over 40 nations around the world, which is a huge, huge statement. Nearly 1/3 of the deployment will be spent in the Indo-Pacific region, and nearly 10% of the time that we've spent at sea has actually been exercising and engaging with India. So I think that that just goes to show the importance we've placed on the region, and particularly with India as a nation. It really is important for us, and what you'll hear on the tour from the people that you'll meet is what we've been trying to get at on there. Clearly we want to test our capability. Have we got what we thought we bought? And the answer is yes. But then we also want to be able to work with allies and partners and like-minded nations across the globe, but particularly in this region. And from a military perspective, that is really, really important in the 21st century, because information flow and information sharing is absolutely critical to success. And therefore, when I joined the Navy, our exercises tended to be with flashing lamps and flag waving. We're now into digital technology. We need to meet up with an Indian warship or an Indian jet at no notice and be able to seamlessly integrate, like two mobile phones sending a message to one another at the drop of a hat, if we're going to be effective allies and partners and friends on the high seas anywhere in the world. And that's what our engagement with India, but with the other partners, 7 of the 10 ASEAN nations, Japan, Republic of Korea, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, are all sorts of nations we've been operating with in this region. And that's why it's hugely important. I know that we've got today and over the coming days people from a whole host of different backgrounds. As I say, it's not just about the military. There is science and technology, there is culture. I believe we've got a chef coming on board over the weekend as well. So everything from our cuisine all the way through to our jet. I think we share a rich, rich history. And as we describe in the UK, that living bridge between the United Kingdom and India, I think is hugely, hugely powerful. So that's why we're here. And the reason you're here is we'd just like to say a huge thank you for your continued support. Congratulations to the prize winners. Hopefully they feel as though they've won something with their day on board and this isn't a chore for them. But hopefully, this is a thank you to you for all that you've done to support the United Kingdom, to support the relationship. So please have a fantastic time. Ask questions. Ask questions. Sailors love nothing better than telling you all about themselves and what they do for a living. Living in a metal box is hard enough, so finding new faces to tell them and bore them about what they do is what they love. So please engage with them and have a fantastic time. But welcome to Queen Elizabeth. Thank you. Our two prime ministers have signed and their vision out to 2030. We're one part of it. I say I'm the expert in the military field. There's lots of other relationships with India from the United Kingdom that we're looking to strengthen and thicken and take forward. And we're facilitating that over the next few days, where we will host members from industry, from trade, science and technology. I think I said, I believe there's a chef coming out as well. So we're just starting that. Our exercises with the Indian military are the biggest exercises we've ever done, the United Kingdom and India. I think it's one of the very few times where, as a nation, you're exercising maritime, land and air at the same time. So again, I think these are just the early signs of where we want to go, and there'll be much, much more to continue once we've left the region.
I'm Nikhil from PTI. So my question is about, will we be seeing the similar exercises in the South China Sea?
Will we be doing the same?
Yeah.
So I think, as I described earlier, what's really important now in modern militaries, and I think capable militaries, it's about the digital interoperability. You've got to be able to seamlessly share information. Your communication systems have to work. It's like your two phones. Do they do it? And that's what we're doing. So sometimes the scenario isn't the important thing. It's proving to yourself that you can get information from an Indian jet to my ship to an Indian submarine, and quickly, so that commanders can make decisions based on the best possible information and in the most timely manner. So that's a lot of what we're going to be doing. And when you've got ships, aircraft and submarines and forces ashore, that's really, really complex.
Yeah, but Commodore Mo, my question was about South China Sea.
So I've never been to Calcutta during the winter, so I'm really jealous. I'm really jealous. So we were trying to think the way of doing
So the exercises are hugely important to us because of the importance of our relationship with India. I said to a few people this morning, it's not just about defence, it's about lots of other strands in trade and commerce, science and technology. But in defence, it's about thickening the relationship between our navies, our air forces, and also our armies. And so on this particular exercise, that's what we're trying to get at. We're trying to make it joint. So we'll all be exercising at the same time and trying to prove that we can get communications between all parties at the same time.
And what all assets from your side and the Indian side would be participating in the exercise? So
we have, in the Navy, it's our strike group, our frigates, destroyers, our carrier and the air wing. And then from the Indians, a submarine, frigates, destroyers, and also the Indian Air Force. And we've been operating with the Indian Air Force in this last week or so with your Su-30s. So already starting that engagement, and then ashore, the armies, our two armies are exercising as well.
F-35 has been flying with the Su-30s.
It has, yes, yes.
And how does the British Navy rate the Su-30s?
So every time
you're operating, that's something fifth generation.
So every time I ask a pilot, my pilot says he won, and if you ask an Indian pilot, he'll say he won. But I think it's a fantastic, both very capable aircraft. But it's about understanding how you operate together, because there are strengths in different strengths. So it's working out how you do it together, so that the sum of the parts is much, much greater.
India, all of them, and there's a lot of demand for ensuring freedom of navigation in those waters. You have operated there. What do you feel in this regard?
So I mean, the first thing I've been reporting back to the United Kingdom to the media there. It's a huge piece of water. It's a huge piece of international water and airspace. It's not dissimilar to the Mediterranean. And so we were exercising there, other nations were exercising there, the Chinese were exercising there, but it was safe and professional. We were able to go, we moved through the region because we were spending a lot of time in the Western Pacific and the Philippine Sea. So our engagement with Chinese Navy and Air Force was entirely safe and professional. But claims there, they need to be sorted out diplomatically with people sitting around the table. Navies bumping up against one another will not be the answer.
And you think you think now with AUKUS coming in, I guess it came, the grouping was announced internationally when you had already left the UK months before that. So in light of that, how do you see these three major nations coming and you're exercising here?
So I think AUKUS, the submarine element attracted lots of headlines, but the AUKUS was, again, it's similar to the relationship we have with India. There's lots of different strands to it around security, sharing of technology. This last month alone, we've been operating with Australian warships and Australian Air Force. So in the same way that India is a member of the Quad, we have lots of different groups and parties. It is about like-minded nations coming together, and AUKUS is just another example of that. I think it's a really good thing to do, but it doesn't mean that it takes precedence over other organisations and alliances that we're in.
Aircraft and how it can be a game changer in this sphere of Indo-Pacific Ocean.
Well, I think beyond just the fact that it's a stealth aircraft, it's very low observable technology, makes it something that everybody has to contend with. But really what it is, it's like the Commodore had mentioned, the digital interoperability, and for its ability to operate with other F-35s and to give battle space awareness is really something that we haven't seen in many, many years. And I think it's something that brings information in the battle space together in a manner that helps decision makers really solve complex problems.
And like we have seen in the recent past, there have been a lot of military hardware cooperation between India and the US. And now there's also this push from India to modernize its Navy and the Air Force. can F-35 be an offer from the US to them?
That I don't know. That would have to be something between the governments of India and the United States.
But you think having such an aircraft would be would bring the two militaries closer and
Absolutely, I do think so. We tend to, as we've gone around the world, almost halfway around the world, we've done exercises with most of the nations that have F-35s, whether it's the AAB or the U.S. Navy with the F-35C.
And you would be witnessing the exercise between the Indian side and the British. Would the Americans also be taking part in it?
We are actually part of the United Kingdom's Carrier Strike Group, so the Marine F-35s on board are just another squadron inside the strike group here, and so we are part of the exercises, and we have been for the entire deployment, and so we are integral to the Carrier Strike Group, and we participate in every exercise that they do.
And you've been doing this all through their...
We have. The past couple of days we've been flying with the Indian Air Force, and we look forward to working with the Indian Navy in the upcoming days as well.
And your assessment of the Indian boys you're flying with?
I'm sorry, that...
Your assessment of the Indians taking...
Very capable and very professional, and it's been incredible to be out here working together. I think the ability to be interoperable and practice doing that is really something that helps us for our future engagements.
This would be, I think, this would be the first time when we'll see the Indian forces taking part in an exercise with UK and the US also participating in it. You think the rising complexity or the increasing this is going to help the three forces operate jointly in this region?
I would say so. I think any opportunity we have to work together with friends and allies just makes the region safer and potential for more prosperity on the open seas.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
Ma'am, you are here on the HMS Queen Elizabeth, and you're of the Indian origin. Can you tell us about yourself and your experience on being on this ship?
Sure. So I'm a British civil servant from the UK's Defence Science and Technology Laboratory. So I'm embedded here in the strike group as support for the S&T. So I collect the data on the things that we're doing here in the operation, on the different technologies that we're using to help inform the commander, but also to help inform the ships and support the ships here in the task group, and take some of that information away so that we can take it back to the lab, we can take it back to the Ministry of Defence and to other interested parties so that we can help improve our technology and our future operations. Do you want to know a little bit about my origin as well?
Yeah,
So I'm born and brought up in the UK, but my roots are from West Bengal in Calcutta, and I go back there quite a lot. So my family are really, really excited that I'm here. It's just a shame that we can't really get off in India because of COVID, but I'm looking forward to coming back again, and hopefully later this year or next year when the COVID restrictions allow.
And how does your family here in India react when they know you're coming with Queen Elizabeth?
So they're very excited because no one in my family has worked with the military before, and so this is a first for us, and they were really proud to hear that I was going to be on board HMS Queen Elizabeth, but even more so now because we're working with the Indian Navy so closely, and it's made me really proud as well to help grow the living bridge between the UK and India.
They must be feeling being on board team. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
How far are we from Mumbai?
We're about 60 nautical miles off the coast. I'm just bringing the media group up to Monaco now, but we'll hold in the ETP until you're clear. If you could just let me know when you're out, I'll be grateful.
Depends on what kind of requirement they have. Yes. Yeah. So we're an agency. So we're an agency to the Ministry of Defense. So we deploy on different operations. We also have our own specialist capabilities. If there's a specialist need, it will go back. I'll send it back to the STL, and they will have experts respond, and they will give them feedback.
Yeah, I remember going to
But they are both alongside, and Richmond is alongside in Goa. But we're doing flight operations and everything here instead. INS Kolkata and INS Talwar is with us now.
I thought I got a good sleep.
And then Kolkata will leave with Fender and Everton when they leave Mumbai.
Then we use submarine.
Okay, we're ready then, so head back down now.
Gary, let's go. Yeah.
थोड़ा इधर करना इनको बोलो
Excuse me.
देखे तो जानता मैं यहाँ क्यों आया और तू भी जानता है कि तू क्यों आया